Hello, and welcome back to Pathologic. To be entirely honest, I forgot what happened yesterday. The military arrived and were doing investigations into the termitary polyhedron and abattoir. Less so abattoir, but yeah. At last, the crucible has fallen to the plague. The last untouched location held out extraordinarily well for a district, but even it is not impervious. Gunshots still ring in the streets. Let me see, do we have any notes right now? Alright, Peter Stomaton's in danger today. There. I've read this already. So let's do the typical plague rundown. The crucible, the spleen, the mouth, the gut, the skinners, and the hindquarters are all infected today. The atrium, the marrow, the warehouses, the tanners, the crude sprawl, and the works are burnt out. Which means that, fortunately for us, a big chunk of knots is clean, so we can go. There's going to be a lot of children activities, but any opportunities involving NPCs in the stone yard or the earth are utterly dead. Nobody's alive there anymore. Today we're going to have to further bash our heads into hoping we can get something done with the Inquisitor. Else, all hope is lost. Everything ends in 3 days. And I don't feel like I'm any closer to creating a cure. Honestly, my last bastion of hope is Artemy, but even then, he's playing with herbal tinctures. While there is certainly a lot of fantastical elements in this town, will herbs and blood be able to cure and make an effective cure, one that can be mass-produced? I don't know. But it's the closest we've got. That's something we must pursue. So what else is there anymore? Either way, I'm going to see Aglaila early today. Get on her quest, see what's going on. Sorry for this episode coming out so damn late. This isn't a post-recording, I'm just saying this to fill up dead air, but essentially what's been going on is that I got a very, very terrible cold. I tend to be good at not getting sick, so when I do get sick, it hits me really hard. What happened was that I had a very, very sore throat along with, I had a sore throat, lip rash, which I still have, drainage, and, what's the last one? Oh yeah, just constantly my nose was dripping, and it was awful. My voice was terribly screwed up for a couple of days, which I would have done this quicker if my voice wasn't so terrible. So, yeah, on the 23rd of November, I finally had the confidence that I can commentate again. So, hello, nice to be back. I'm here being the doctorate killer. Because I am a hypocrite and generally a sad person. It is funny that I'm getting back to this on the 23rd, though, because both H-Bomber Guy and Sol Matul released really good videos on Pathologic. H-Bomber Guy going over the first game, and Sol Matul doing a full kind of look at the second game. And those are videos that I highly recommend you check out. Well, they go through the entire story, so check them out if you're never gonna play this game and you're not interested in seeing me play through all of it. Then they go through it, and honestly, the perfect kind of reaction to this stuff. H-Bomber Guy in particular essentially goes through the mood of the game, all the swings you go through while playing through it, and it was impressive how closely nailed down how viscerally disgusting my first time playing this game felt. And that's commemorable, if you ask me. It's a good video. They're both good creators. That disinfectionist was very, very aggressive. What a scary man.
There's little time left, and I still need to do so much.
Bachelor, I would like you to explain a certain important point to me. You have a close relationship with the Canes, do you not? Why do you ask? Because they are obviously very fond of you. Maria's in love with you, that's clear as day. And while it makes no sense if my knowledge of our future plans is correct, Victor has gone so far as to entrust you with some final family matter. George speaks of you with great sympathy. Even if that is so, it doesn't oblige me to anything. Hopefully, this won't sour my relationship with you. The Canes will help us, if they are still capable of anything at all. That is, to gather the necessary documents concerning the unusual structure, the polyhedron. Why do you need those No. What happened to them, by the way? I don't know if something has happened, but something could happen any time now. They're a remarkable lot, you know, that have some remarkable family rites. They have this tradition for, I think, commemorating the dead. They shut themselves in and refuse to allow absolutely anyone to communicate with them. So it'd be reasonable to speak with them about the tower before they said about their family tradition? Basically, yes. If you're too late, communication could become quite difficult. That I know from experience. Although I doubt that they will tell us what we really want to know about that tower. Just speaking with them is not enough. I need documents. I understand. Basically, I need to know what that structure is. I need all documents pertaining to that building. There's probably a connection between its fantastic form and the fantastic events that have taken place. Where could those blueprints be? The Canes surely know everything. Maybe they keep copies of the blueprints. After all, that chimera... Well, chimera is just how it's said in the beginning. It's more like chimera. Was built under their patronage. Let them be the ones to make excuses now. I don't think so. The structure is a product of Peter Stamatin's wild imagination. I'll speak with him. This is today's main quest. Get the blueprints from... Yeah, we gotta get the blueprints. The documents. And all hell's gone loose here. That's insanely creepy music with the chanting. Nice. During a thunderstorm. This game's very uplifting. I must question, though, what does the polyhedron have to do with the plague? How is this helping us? I mean, it's possible that it could bring about the plague. If it really is a magical structure, then who knows what kind of... This magic, if it is magical, could affect more than we think. We don't know if it does, but I guess that's why we're checking. I can only hope that there's any... well, if anything will come out of this. We're desperate. Let me stop by Ava's to drop off the blood I've been carrying around. I don't think Burak needs it back. Yeah, there. I also have the Executor's clothes. I just carry that because why not? Something I noticed, though, I like how we're this big, accomplished doctor, and yet we have to scramble around in garbage bins to make our way. To survive. Really is a hobo economy, and it's sad that a doctor of all people has to go through it. To be fair, a lot of what we're doing is quite theoretical, so that would explain a bit. In fact, the entire reason why we came to this damn town was because we wanted to prove that our theoretics had fruit to it, and then Simon died. And now we're here by pure circumstance, because we can't leave, because we'll be possibly executed if we don't do anything about it. On some level, our business here is greedy too. We came here for knowledge, and we have to use knowledge to get away from this big government figure. If we save the town, half of the reason we're saving it is to save ourselves. I'm going around murdering desperate people to save myself. A lot of what I'm doing here is all for myself. Really, it's hard to be truly selfless. I've been sort of selfless. I've tried to do the best options. Well, not even best options. This game isn't black and white. But tried to do the options that follow my ethics, and while I've been able to do some of that, has my action on the day-to-day... yeah, my day-to-day, just romps through the city, tell the same story? Well, no. From my view, I'm a killer. Justified sometimes, but I've talked to the camera about me going around killing people to profit, to survive, to get excess. Yeah, sometimes it's survival, sometimes it's excess. I don't need these clothes I have. I need some clothes, but not these big, complicated ones. I could have subsisted without killing everyone. A good example of one I needed to kill was when I think it was on day 7 or 6, where there was that arsonist at the end of the shack, down in the works. Or I just had to put a rifle round in his chest, or else I would have been hit with fire. That's reasonable, but storming into abandoned homes, not only looting from them, but also going in specifically to murder the marauders, just trying to find some painkillers for themselves. I don't think that's the right thing. Perhaps I'm too sentimental, but it's funny how I act like the hero during these quests, like breaking out just six innocent people using 60,000 rubles to free them, only to go out and hunt people. I don't know, it's just a very curious reaction for me to have taken through this game. The town still likes me though, so that's something. I have people's approval. Not the Kins though. They just outright rejected me from the abattoir, as you clearly remember from yesterday. This game's complicated. This game makes you ask a lot of weird questions. Either way, though, we're at Peter's. Finally. Hey there, terrifying statue. Oh. Yes. Name? Let's establish your identity first. I am Bachelor Dankovsky, an authorized representative of the Inquisitor, head of the sanitary staff. Your company commander should have informed you. Right. So what are you here for? No, you'll be the one to answer my questions, not the other way around. On what authority are you here? Answer, unless you fancy a court-martial, that is. We're here in duty, kind sir. So you're the offender's friend, then, or an accomplice? I am on duty as well. I want to hear a full report. Now. Then it should be of interest to you that your friend is to be held responsible for the crime of murder in cold blood of 4 servicemen. Our informer has indicated that the murderous architect resides in this very house. The sentence is to be executed immediately, and now you are going to tell me where the offender can be found. Why in the world would I do that? We're going to find the offender sooner or later anyway. We already have tactical data suggesting that one of the offenders is hiding in the ruined buildings in the central part of town and is presenting armed resistance. I suggest you cooperate in his arrest, or else. But Peter is not guilty. He couldn't have murdered a person. Yeah, Peter is in danger, and I bet this quest is attached to his life. I decided to get rid of Peter after all. Yeah, let's talk to Andre. Sometimes it feels like the people that'll take your place in a day. Wow, that was a dip move. Sometimes it feels random, but sometimes I think it's meaningful for the events in the day. Like, I think Peter being the one to die today is scripted to this main quest. So if you ignore it, Peter dies. If you do something stupid in the quest, Peter still dies. Or well, if you fail this quest, Peter gets sick, and if you fuck up this quest, he gets killed. Of course, given what I was talking about earlier, I don't think it's of any, I don't think it's a surprise of me to say that I am going to hide him as best as I can. Peter will not die. At least, not on my accord. Thank you for the coffee, kind sir.
A bull is down? Well, that's one straightforward allegory. Way too straightforward. We get it.
Oh, just the person I wanted to see. We've had quite an adventure here. My knife loves strife. It is gripe with the type filled with tripe. So tell me, what would be best? Should I drag my little brother over here to have him always by my side, or rather move to his place? Do you know already what happened to your brother? Of course I do. And how do you know? Apparently we're talking about different things. What? Did something else happen? Yes, there are soldiers in your brother's studio. They're ambushing him there, while others are combing the town searching for him. He broke loose and ran outside, wild and disorientated. Fell across some soldiers. I've been told that he had been preparing to leave his humble abode beforehand. Someone's heard the ruckus. Thankfully, I got there in time. He managed to provoke the loyal rifleman somehow, so they started clubbing him, and then, well, you know me. How many? 3 flamethrower-wielding freaks and an officer. I see. What can I say? Well done, Andre Stomatin, you heartless bastard. Why did you leave him alone? What's wrong with you? I'll just deal with everything that needs to be dealt with, and that's it. I'm never leaving him again. All our lives, we've been persecuted for being extraordinary. As soon as a genius sets foot out of his house, he's immediately struck by lightning. You must know that. We're birds of a feather, you and us. But why didn't you abandon any and all business to stay with him? Why didn't you take him with you? Why would I? They didn't even know who Peter was and where he lived. He never reported that to them. I hope, and even if he did, none of them got out of there alive. No, Andre, we are not birds of a feather. You're absolutely mental.
I've had my share of damage.
Well, guess we're gonna have to go deal with Peter ourselves. Killing for your brother and then just leaving him. How would he not know that the soldiers would want his head for that? Selfish. Oh, well. Thank you for taking your sweet ass time. Wow, that fire hurt me. I didn't expect that. There we go. Executor. It's Peter. Send me the dark blue flame. I desire to burn down not in earthly, but in heavenly fire. So please do bring me this spicy spirit. Bring me my smoky, dense, odorous sap. I want to burn myself in fire. Alcohol is too flammable, Peter. Let's not take unnecessary risks. Oh. You look like hell, mate. So you've changed your mind and became the master of cremations after all. Is that how you want to die? Silence! Listen to my confession. I'd rather confess to you than her. Listen, and I shall tell you of what I had managed to create. When I studied architecture, for the longest time I remained passive and didn't do or make anything at all, except observations. It always seemed to me that any house is so much more than walls, a hearth, and a roof. I'm listening. At last I realized that any building is an edifice, a concurrence of planes, lines, rhythms, and temperatures that can become a perfect vessel for a soul. Not a human soul, no, a bigger one. The soul that no man can communicate with yet, for it has no shape, cycle, or voice. And you're referring to an intelligent being. I don't know. Neither did I know or experience the soul back then. I only sensed its existence and loved it in advance. When my passion reached its zenith, I realized I just couldn't live like that any longer. I wanted to speak its tongue. I wanted to touch it. Pete, go on. And so I gradually began to try. I started to design buildings that were not buildings, chambers that people couldn't live in. Everyone thought I was either a madman or a joke. Only my brother believed in me. He and the few that were privy to my secret. They knew that my designs were not intended for men, but rather for this wondrous soul. And what came out of that? Finally, I understood that I was on the right track. I knew I've discovered an insane but genuine feature that only a lover can feel. And I knew I was striking true. I constructed project after project, but all of them contraven the law of earthly physics and geometry. Seems like my beloved soul is unlikely to find a permanent shelter on this earth. Why? Chimeras. They're all chimeras. Nobody would have allowed me to even model them, if not for Nina the Wild. Oh, that's when my brother and I met her. She married Victor, went to live here, and provided me with everything. The place, the materials, the working hands, and most importantly, the hearts willing to believe in miracles. What do you mean? I mean that buildings demand people. Moreover, they demand the people that would demand those buildings back. Museum showpieces, models, abstractions, mind games. These are all not my cups of twirin. Nina gave me a whole living town, a town aching and craving to go heavenwards, to the stairs, a town desperately hungering for a crown, the crown I've given it. Is that so? I've built it from prisms and mirrors. I've managed to focus them, to capture the perfect trick of the light and dream. That's right, I'm a trick master, the ultimate magician. I focus the aura of magic just like a lens focuses sun rays. Now the town is dying, poisoning my precious wreath, my crystal bud, my focus. I haven't heard about a focus since day one. So what can your polyhedron really do? I cannot put it into words. I've only been tested by the children yet. If you ask them, they'd tell you that it brings their dreams to life. Plays their games, daydreams with them, transports them into someone else's fantasies. Heard anything about it? I have. But the Canes could tell you even more. They tell you that this is a vessel that can hold the most precious substance of all, the focus of a soul. But even they cannot understand what they've been granted. Neither can I, and I will never be able to repeat it. I'm dead. So this is suicide. It is. See, I was smart enough to take the designs of my creations to the parting. Give them to me, as a keepsake. Old boy, I'm thirsty, old boy. Bring me 5 bottles of Twirin, and you can have the designs. No one would be able to decipher them anyways, and if they do, no one would have built it. 5? Why do you need that many? I'm not planning to drink them. I need them for self-immolation. Go, go. I'll wait for you. Burning Twirinless is frightening. Its vapors would exalt me to subtle planes. I'd be mere piles of ash falling to the ground otherwise. I'd just feed the earth, as the steppe people say. Gag, anyway. Oh, damn you to hell. Just don't do anything stupid. I'll have another word with you later. How do I get around this? Well, first off, I think we should talk to Andre. If he's going to snap, I think out of anybody that can snap his brother out of it, it's Andre or Maria. But Andre is closest, so let's try that. I do not know what we have to do here. It might be that I have to get the Twirin. Yeah, Twirin. And then talk him out of it once I have it, or I gotta talk to someone to talk him out of it. I don't know. Before gathering Twirin from the... What's it called again? Oh, just Andre Stomiton's pub and Bad Griff's. Either way, we'll see through it.
What's brewing at the Kinds?
No, he can't help. Well, it's three things a Twirin. Thanks for the extra hit of fire there, Doc. That it really necessary. I don't know what to make of Peter's words. We've heard of the Focus for a long while now. Can it really... Can it really hold a soul? And what kind of soul? Some ethereal being? Or Simon Kane himself, maybe? I've been questioned about the status of Simon Kane before. Yet I still do not know what to believe. It's all confusing. We're also infected again, which, well, you know how I deal with infection. That's not a good way to do it. If I find any rats or arsonists, I'll get in the way of the flame to burn it off me. I can only wonder what these things that almost seem like philosophies have to do with everything. Is it irrelevant drivel? Or is there something we really have to consider here? Just complete our goals? Or are we just listening to the passions of one man? Wait, why am I going over here? I was thinking, go back to the Inquisitor. We don't have to go back to the Inquisitor, we're gathering Twirin. I mean, actually... There's two figures I could see about finding a way around giving him Twirin. That would be the Executor and Maria. Either way, I think I'll start off this by gathering the Twirin and see what he says. If I can talk him out of it from there. Otherwise, I'll go and meet others, because I will not let him immolate himself. He is not dying today. If there's any kind of compassion I can have, let us go the full mile to save a man. After the admittance of greed earlier on. We need to uphold something. And there goes the plague. Thank you, sir. A cheesy way to do it, but, you know, I'm not against a little bit of cheese. As long as I'm not save scumming. Save scumming is very much a gamey aspect, while burning the plague off of me, be it a bug or no, is a gameplay mechanic. That's how I like to see it, at least. Yeah, monocyllin. Let me talk to Griff.
He who loans him.
There's 2 other bottles of Twirin, and I'll take your ammo. Exchange, I'll give you a knife, a lockpick. Well, no, I should keep the knife. Water still isn't much, although we're quickly losing value with that. Give you the watch. Yeah. Actually, willing to give up revolver ammos and the revolver itself. We only need the rifle now. Used to use it for just quick pops, but I think we're past that now. No, you know what? I just remembered. Buying precious time, preventing him from burning the papers. Maybe this is a matter that the Inquisitor needs to know about. So we're gonna try the Inquisitor and Maria while we still have time. We started early, so we aren't crushed for time today. Making mistakes is fine. We also do not have to worry about health, infection, or food. We have those squared away, and I genuinely suspect that we have them squared away for the rest of the game. Quests and time are now our biggest limiting factors. No matter how much the plague whittles you down and causes death loops, it all ends in less than 3 days. 6,000 dead. Maddening. In which the creators of the impossible take the stage to discuss captured miracles. Miracles, another theme we've heard about a lot. Clara was boasting it on the stage play at the beginning of the game. She can do miracles. I want to say they're phony, but with my highly rational and intelligent mind, but to be honest, I'm disturbed and confused. I get that what I'm saying isn't terribly, like... I wouldn't say it's the most meaningful things to be saying, but it's just gut reactions I'm having in the moment. I feel weird. I want to dismiss subjects, but at the same time I don't feel like I can anymore. And the drunkard has another conversation for us. May I ask why you're so happy? Hail to the powerful and healthy storm, as they used to say. Times of change are truly upon us. The old will topple down for the new to be erected. Their optimism is untimely. What's the point? I'm trying to escape the absurdity of it all, Professor. There is a point to everything. Everything happens for a reason. All these deaths couldn't have been for nothing. That's what I think. Through cleansing and suffering, a new bliss will emerge. Really, you couldn't have come up with that on your own. 'Tis true. 'Twas a girl comforter, a puny lass that wiped away our tears. She comforted me yesterday, without pouring us down and outs. She said, everything happens for a reason. All those deaths couldn't have been... she speaks the truth. Forget it, you sot. The recent war had swept away more lives than this plague. People have always died and will always die by the millions. For nothing. People are trying to make sense of the absurd, but... truly... I just see all of this as absurd. least if your definition of absurd is the pointless, meaningless. Things that shouldn't be happening yet do.
The commander and
The Inquisitor has nothing to say. What about Maria? Can I tell her... This last one is a bit of a stretch. Will Maria stop him from killing himself? She is a fellow utopiast, so we can only hope. Oh, Maria, will you lend us your hand?
I often feel like someone's looking at us from the other side.
One blow after another. Clara is becoming a mistress of the earth. A dreadful one, too. She's ruthless, and cruel. Fanatics believe her, and she'd happily burn us all at stakes. I can feel this horrible heat with my very skin. Who's inflicting blows on whom? The changeling is robbing us of the most precious thing. She's dousing Peter's genius. She's tempting him, sowing the destructive seeds of doubt in the weakened soul. Her rhetoric can easily drive him mad. How do you know about it? She has been trying for a long time now. He sent me a crazy verse letter, a love letter. I won't show you. He says he's breaking down. He cannot stand it anymore, but I cannot help him either. Changeling gnaws at him like a worm. Saw what Glayla's doing. She has sent her. A crazy farewell letter. Seems the Gava's history is repeating itself. What is she saying to him? Now he believes that he is to blame for everything. She accused him of taking a miracle captive, not letting go of that which is supposed to have faded, tying a bird which was supposed to fly off, forcing himself on the guest that cannot live here any longer. Is that not true? I fear Peter will die today. If that happens, a part of the world with Peter will be out with him. An everlasting, irreparable loss. There has never been and will never be an architect like him. How can I make him change his mind? Tell him I am turning into a mistress. Tell him I can feel the scarlet lava. Tell him I am ready to accept it into my womb. Tell him my mother is looking at me now. I shall become her. I shall overcome her. And I shall build where he had conceived. That is why I'll preserve the tower. Tell him. I feel like he's with Andre now. I will. I was going to visit Andre anyway. Tell Peter that Maria is going to be a mistress. I didn't receive any notes about it, but I'll keep that in mind. For the moment, though, I want to take some, immunity pills. Because I got infected again. Because I've been focusing so much on talking and just thinking about the game so far that, I admit that I have been, not paying too much attention to the gameplay. This has all become routine, as morbid as that is. Hey, give me a douse, mate. Thank you. And we'll take your tourniquet. Let's head up to the part of the city which has people in it again. I've missed the sight of people and not having blood splotches grown on the ground. You think that should be normal, but you begin to miss it. Let me stop by here to grab some medicine. I'll need these, and that will do. Even as this area is healthy, the streets are awfully clear. Just because plague isn't wrecking this place doesn't mean that it's... doesn't mean that people are alive to inhabit them. This place really is deserted. Where hath the children gone? Peter, I have come to talk. Here, you see, I brought the tour in. Now give me the designs. Here you go. Carefully, or they'll catch fire. Have you seen how it burns, by the way? It's a fure work. The flame of deep green, navy, purple, crimson, black. You're going to see it now. Stop. I have a better idea. Really. Maria asked me to tell you something. She did? What? She will become a mistress and construct your latest invention. She gave me her word. Maria's turning to Crelius now. Who knows what kind of butterfly will flutter out from it. And by the way, Maria is yours to unite with now, not mine. I'll help her, Peter. Do not give up so easily. Come out of the pyre. I see. Why here, and why do you look like this? This place is memorable for me. It was after making this ruin that I had an epiphany and realized how to erect my tower heavenwards in the mask. The mask came into my possession after an unsuccessful appointment as a master of cremations, so here I am, doing my job. Go away from here, Peter. Go to Andre. First, I'll go to my place. I don't want to see anyone in this condition. Too much is burned to ashes inside of me. Too much is evaporated into thin air. And I want to drown myself in a new flame. There are soldiers in your house. They found out where you live. I'm in the clear. There was nothing for me to be afraid of. That's what you think. What if they confuse you for your brother? No, go in peace, Daniel. Or give the designs back. Wait. Tell me, Peter, what have you constructed? What is it? Have you been inside the tower? I have. It's a multi-dimensional space. It is turned unto itself. It has no surfaces, borders, or boundaries. It has no mass. It has no end. I don't believe you. Then go and see it for yourself. Just let the children teach you when they get back. How to get back. This is a sensation, a groundbreaking discovery that will turn the world upside down. Discovery is not mine. I have nothing to be proud of, really. I've stumbled across it by accident. Moreover, I didn't really understand how it worked. I've studied my own calculations inside and out, and I still don't get it. Something's off, but what? That's the question. You will find the answer one day, Peter. I can only hope that he will heed our warning. And we'll take these to the Inquisitor now. See what happens. Actually, we should head down to the hind quarter and look for new people. See if there's anybody alive. A single soul to talk to. Empty. really is nobody to trade with. The town is dead. It's lost. I can only continue to struggle against it. Really hope I did correctly with Pitar. I didn't get a dialogue option that I remember. I hate to think that that means he's going to die. In hindsight, I probably should have brought Maria's word before bringing him the Tuirin. Gotta live with my mistakes. I can only hope that this is another way to do it, and I didn't just hand him the way to kill himself while offering him, like, insufficient proof that he shouldn't die. Whoops.
There's little time left, and I still need to do so much.
Here are the blueprints. Hope you'll treat them with utmost care. I'll probably become a bibliographical rarity even before the author passes away. That's out of the question. From what I know about the author, he doesn't seem like he has much time left. A wild lifestyle, heightened anxiety, alcohol and hallucinogen addiction, obsessive phobias, remarkably intensive neural stress. Spot on. On the other hand, Peter is still quite young. He is of the same age as me. Well, let's take a look at the blueprints then. What do you think? Whatever it is a world-class sensation. Is that what you think? Well, now you have a look. Go now. Only come back here after a while, preferably tomorrow. Just as I intended. I can only hope that I have saved Peter. If he dies, the ending will not be kind to me. Let's see, do I have any notes? No. So I think I can just get a little bit of rest. I'm anxious for Peter, honestly. Truly hope I did not fuck this up. It was a big lapse of reasoning. I was thinking too much along with gamey stuff where, yeah, you bring them the stuff they need, then you can talk to them about it. When I had the tools to offer him without giving him the loaded gun. Let's pass on to 12 and see if we get any notes. We do indeed. Katarina's unexpected invitation. I beg you to believe what I say. These recent events are monstrous. My hands tremble so much that I can hardly write. He is here again. He is here again. Come to the rod. Please, I need you. I will do that, then. Off to the Earth District. He is here again. Oh, who could he be? Thank you for the water bottle and your valiant sacrifice. I'll take some Delta tablets just because I want to really be hard on not getting infected again. Just because I'm playing so badly. I'm going to be wadding through constant pain right now, so I'm going to take some. Yeah, that's just instant full immunity. That's really nice. At least the medicines that came in with the soldiers are good. Too bad it isn't saving anybody anymore. It's also incredibly expensive because, you know... Remember when... Oh, right, never mind. Even if they are dispensing drugs around, it's only gonna preserve people's life. People have been walking about with no regard to the plague since day 3. And they still do so, and the effect of it is obvious right here. Everybody's dead. There's nobody left to trade with. A little top boy can be found in the distance. But of course I'm gonna go after, because whatever they have is of incredible value to me right now. Yeah, we're stockpiling pins. Let's, grab all this. Are you alright? I'm scared by the masks. I know for sure there are no people beneath them. Who is beneath them, then? Sometimes I think it's the sharp claws and white nails of someone's gigantic fingers. Wow, your imagination is staggering. I feel like I read that before. Funny though, the people drinking the Twirin are the ones that appear most abundantly now. Maybe Twirin is good against the plague, because out of all the NPCs I could trade with, they've been the most common up right now. So maybe they are able to walk through a cloud or two without that much consequence. If so, good on them. I'm burning through my money because we don't have much longer left for the game. It all ends in 3 days. Interesting, decor.
I'm afraid I'm of little use now.
There you are, Bachelor. I've been waiting for you waiting to reveal to you. Nobody else knows the secret, and I never tell them. Who else could I reveal it to but you, the man that only came here for its sake? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Who I am talking about? Well, Simon? Simon is alive. I just saw him suddenly appear at the crucible. I sense him, you know? I can't ignore it. I woke up, but the feeling refused to let go of me. He's there. He is still there. It was all a lie, an illusion. Reuben will back up my words. I don't understand. Why Reuben? Reuben must tell the truth. He never lies if you make him swear on his master's name. He will tell you then that he never dissected the body. Simon is at the crucible. It was all an illusion, a deception. You say you could feel his presence, but if Simon is alive, why weren't you feeling it all this time? Surely it couldn't have risen from the dead. I do not know myself. I would never mislead you. Why would I? We, the Sabrovs, are done for. We were the first to suffer Clara's punishing hands. Whoever wins, we shall never again rise from the ashes. And still I say to you, he is there. This is for you. Simon is, to a certain extent, a concept. That much I have concluded by now. Which means your words can be taken very much as an allegory. No, no! That's exactly why the Cains are so abhorrent. Any fantasy that only has the right to exist in the realm of dreams, they give substance. It is as if they're trying to bring all of those illusions, all the vastness available to the human imagination, into this world. Fine, but why are you so upset? I beg you on my knees, go to him, see for yourself that he is alive, and let the Inquisitor rend the Cains to pieces. Aglaila will be happy, because the only good thing in her is their hatred for the Cains. Is it so? I didn't know that. Well, now you do. Oh, you generously shall she reward you for the news, for exposing the villains. On the eve of everyone's doom, a truly heroic deed. So why won't you do it? Ask for so little. I was going to visit the crucible anyway. Perhaps there really is no smoke without fire. I will go see Reuben then. But if he didn't cut into Simon's body, then how did we make the first batch of the vaccine? I know the subsequent vaccines were made from the or well, at least hearts with warm blood in them, which occurred with the Hunchback's girl. Poor thing. At least I think I remember that Simon was used to make the first versions of the... Or is that not true and Simon is needed for the panacea? I do not know. I don't think anything actually supports that Simon is needed for the panacea, but that strikes me as making sense now. If he is a man of longevity, maybe his blood or his organs are extraordinary, able to create something powerful. I have no evidence to back this up, however. We don't even know if Simon ever was an extraordinary man, because we have no proof of it. He died on day 1. Fucking rats. Ruben is apparently at... Ruben? Let me go check out his place. It could just be a weirdly put map marker. Or it could just be standing behind here, acting all weird. And soaking in the plague, I guess. Oh, yeah, there he is. He is here.
It'll take them a long time to find me here.
They let me go, but it can't be. Yorge was supposed to put me to death. Why would he have put you to death? Why, blasphemy, of course. Or do you still not realize the fate that befell Simon? Tell me the truth, Ruben. Is Simon still alive? What do you mean? Simon is dead. Certainly dead now. Although he was alive. For all the while he was thought to be dead. Katerina Sabirov came back from some sojourn with the spirits and declared that Simon has arisen in the crucible just now. She's hysterical. Oh, well, that Clara did something to her. Took her power and her crown as a mistress. You're certain that she has said that? It's impossible. I broke Simon down into tiny particles with my own hands and turned him into the white vaccine. Yeah, he was vaccine, gotcha. How are you certain that the man whose body you took was Simon Kane? You think I don't know what Simon looked like? You think his greatness, his noble visage, is comparable to his brother or anyone else? After all, it wasn't his superhuman blood. Who else could fight the disease for so long and almost beat it, even if at the cost of lethargy? Whose? Can you tell me? Understand that in all my time here, I have never, not even once, seen Simon. The only man I hope to meet here. I never saw him alive, I never saw him dead. What do you expect me to believe? Fine. Ask at the Crucible. Since they let him go, they clearly don't think of me as either a murderer or a blasphemer. Let them explain where Simon is. I've said all I can. By the name of your master, Ruben, answer me. Did you tell the truth? It's all true. I broke Simon down into particles. Anything that couldn't be used to make the vaccine, I burned. There is no mistake, can't you see? Only that wondrous organism could produce the white vaccine. The one who's still keeping hundreds of people alive. I give you my word. Very well. Then my path takes me to the Crucible once again, just as 9 days ago, where your master directed me there. Start at Maria's. We also got a note earlier. Marco Martel wants me. There was a peculiar incident I'd like to tell you about. Not exactly sure whether or not it was in any way connected to recent events. Regardless, its consequences are dire. Besides, I need your advice. Please find a moment to attend my spectacular assembly. This time as my personal guest, not as part of the audience. Respectfully, Marco Martel, Impresario of Freaks. And yes, Ruben's music just got really intense because the music in these warehouses are really long and surprisingly nuanced. Listen to them in the soundtrack if you want to hear all the stuff you don't normally hear in-game. They do play in-game, you just aren't around long enough to hear them. Anyways, I guess we're stopping by Marc Immortel. And whatever he says, we'll go to the Crucible. And according to my notes, these are the only 2 side quests of the day. So, that's good. And yes, I've been keeping notes. Stuff like district names, so I can properly call them out for just comprehension for the viewers. I also note if some events you don't get an invitation for, because I know there's some quests you just kind of stumble into on accident, so I write those down, stuff like that. Also just notes I want to talk about, like the disinfectionists and their drops being useless, stuff like that. Just things that I think are useful on the gameplay level, because if there's anything in this game I can speak of with nuance, it's the gameplay. Very less so the philosophy and all of the complicated storytelling, because I struggle to grasp it. I can feel it, but I don't understand it as well as someone like Sol Matul does.
Changeling is the most sincere of them all. Some of them she saves, others condemns to death. At least she knows what she wants.
You have my sincerest gratitude for finding an opportunity to pay a visit to a poor actor. But tell me, what do you make of the things you've witnessed recently? What is your impression? I'm referring to the few hours that we haven't seen each other. The impression is all over the place, to be blunt. I wholeheartedly agree. It's turning into a bedlam, wouldn't you agree? I can feel it here all too well. Still can get used to it. But the piquancy of the whole ordeal, see for yourself. I've been thinking about leaving this place of the dead for a while now, but I get the feeling that this is exactly the place for me to fulfill my part. Why did you want to see me? To confirm your sharpest observation, actually. I've got competition now, as you can see. The lowest kind of it. I suppose I am no longer a tragedian myself. I am rather a comedian. This is almost grotesque and insane parody. And who is the competition? Some mob is trying to act out, I'm not sure what to call it. It's not really a performance. Well, they're trying to act out a living image of something by the bone stake. Although I'm sure living is the best word. The centerpiece is a dying creature, after all. How is that competition? Everybody started to talk about it, interpreting, reinterpreting the act, just like they do with our very own mask act here. The prophetic excitement is growing by the hour, hand in hand with the anger. Anger? What are they so angry about? I don't know. They only have the executor's sardonic reports at the moment. I wouldn't have bothered you with this if not for the nasty smells coming from the detestable farce. Because, honestly, who would really believe that is my Epiogion's doing? And yes, I throw on the French accent when I don't know what I'm reading. The mob thinks it's a heavenly portent, no it is. God, these big words are killing me. I sound so stupid. Consider my curiosity piqued. I'll have a look when I get a chance. Nice cane trick, bro. The bone stick lot where the woman got burned on the first day. I'll finish up this side quest at the canes, and we'll get on to that. I'll also check in on Peter, Andre, and the soldiers while we're in that area. Just see if there's anything else people have to say. I suddenly realized what I was thinking about with bringing Peter the items to talk him out of it. I was thinking along the lines of role-playing in games like Fallout, honestly. I think that's where it came from. A couple of times in those games, you'll bring them a fucking illegal item or way to kill themselves, and once you've obtained it and have it in your inventory, that's how you talk them out of it. I realize this is stupid now, because like I said earlier, I just handed Peter a loaded gun when he's suicidal. He asks for a loaded revolver, and I say, here's the loaded gun, but don't use it.
I'm feverish. What can it be?
Video game quest logic is ridiculous on hindsight. Maria, answer me, Maria. Are you aware that I have always been completely honest with you? I am, and Daniel, you're a man of honor. Maria, tell me, Maria, have you always been frank with me? You're the only person I've been frank with, and Daniel. This is probably because our meeting was so strange, and we have spent too little time together. You're the only one I've always been honest with, and I'll keep being honest with you, and Daniel. I don't want to lie to you. And Maria, tell me, is it true that Simon is alive? Not quite. It's complicated, but you're not going to believe me anyways. It's a pity that you've come to know our family at this horrible time. None of us in tune with their true nature these days. Hopefully you haven't been to the right wing. The wing where my father used to live. What's going on with you all, Maria? Mysticism. I can only tell you that you should trust us. But if you would rather abandon us now and go over to the winner's side, then you should leave, rather than watch us all perish. What in the world are you talking about? Uncle is preparing to die. I am preparing to be awakened. My father will not be here for too long. I don't think I'll ever understand you, the Canes. We are innocent before our town. Nobody has ever done so much for the people as we have. Just wait for some more until I awaken, and I shall explain it to you. I need explanations now. The accusations your family is facing are too grave. Alright, talk to my father. Just don't be surprised by anything, and do not ask unnecessary questions. He's a bit out of it, but he can offer good advice. Fine, I'll do just that. By her father, she means Victor. And I will go see Victor now.
The carcass in the lot classifies as incitement, but we won't be provoked. Who could have done something like that?
My conscience hasn't completely returned to me yet. I can hardly imagine how much have changed here since then. I need to ask you a question. Ask, I shall answer as clearly as I can. Do you know why ghosts always speak in riddles? It used to puzzle me, after all. I have never felt compelled to resort to allegory in order to draw conclusions from my visions. Now I know the answer. Consciousness is fragmented. Is it true that Simon Kane is alive? But what do you call life? Life is any state of a human being that is different from death. Do you know of that which we call memory? Yes, I think I have the basic idea. Why then did you ask me that question about Simon? I wanted to know where Simon Kane is now. I cannot know the answer to this question. Had my daughter not fallen in love with you, you wouldn't have been allowed to ask even the questions you've asked so far. Why have you come here, Bachelor Denkovsky? I want to know the truth about Simon. So you want to know the truth about Simon? So be it. You will. The truth is that George Kane, who so ardently desired eternal life for his brother, has committed himself in entirety to Simon's memory. He is imbued completely with memories of him. That is what Katerina saw, but she is very sloppy with her visions. I think I'm beginning to understand. Real quick, I'm not gonna read this for the second. I guess George is pretending, at least what I'm getting from it now, George is pretending to be Simon, or is using his memory and I guess trying to be Simon. I don't know how this is going to turn out yet, but Simon isn't alive physically. His body is gone, but he is alive through the memories of him, and perhaps Gjordge is choosing to be his vessel by being him in a sort of abstract, fucky way. I guess I could ask, can anybody just declare themselves as someone else when they're dead? Can I be Alexander the Great? Of course, I try to rebut this insane theory with humor, but that honestly could be the case here. But let us see. If Katerina starts spreading rumors of Simon's return, tell them Gjordge has gone mad, that he imagines himself to be Simon and Katerina is scenting those waves. Talk to Gjordge, let him confirm his consent to being presented as a madman. I mean, he must himself agree that I paint him as insane? Yes, go to him. Talking to him will open your eyes to the truth. You're a perceptible man, after all. Help us. Such rumors would be very inopportune, and please accept some money. It'll be use in shutting up some particularly big mouths. You really have no idea how much has changed. The cost of shutting up mouths is now several times greater. Money. Honestly worthless at this point, but I appreciate the gesture. Now let's see. What kind of madman is Gjordge? How has he turned out?
I'm too old. Nothing can harm me anymore.
What do you want? I just want to talk to you and ask for your blessing in a certain difficult affair. Yes, you're exactly as I imagined, my boy. When Isidore described you to me, I knew that this is the way I would like my hair to be. Alas, I was never begotten one. I am not the first Cain to lack a son, and regrettably, not the last. Why? I think this is the price we pay for leaving too much life in our wake. Life that is lush, blooming, unpredictable, and unrestrained. The soul that could have belonged to our children is dissolved in our man-made legacy. Judge, there is a rumor in the town that Simon is alive, and his supposed death was a ruse set by the Cains to disguise their involvement in the plague outbreak. The truth about Simon Cain is the kind of truth that may only be explained to those ready to accept it. They want to know what happened to his body? Very well. Simon Cain was afflicted with the sand plague. His body's been torn up into droplets and fibers. It's a pity that we now cannot produce his remains before the non-believers. What are they to find comfort now? The news that you have gone mad, Judge. Do you believe I have gone mad? I'm starting to think I've been in a madhouse all this time. Here's my final request. Tell the Inquisitor that Gjordge Cain has gone insane, and that our family is in preparation for collective suicide. That should do. Perhaps she will even leave you alone for another day or two. But that's not true, is it? Not entirely true, but true enough to satisfy vigorous minds like hers. Temporary lives will depart so that the eternal lives will be reborn. Go now, my boy. You are no mystic after all. Farewell. I am glad that I did in the end have the chance to meet you. What'd I get infected by? I didn't even get... Okay, game. Whatever you say. Anyways, I can't make heads or tails of that one. You know, I'm starting to see why the Stamanans are aligned with the Canes. There's a lot of talk about souls and... Huh. Perhaps Peter's creations are... Maybe even the polyhedron will be used to contain these lives. I can't quite get the words for it, but if they're going to dispose of their lives as human bodies, maybe they're planning to implant themselves into the creations of the Stomatans. Maybe even the polyhedron.
What happened in the bone stake lot? Has someone been burned there again?
Have you already been told about the Canes? God, these days I'm told nothing about the Canes. What do you mean someone really special? They have extremely valuable information. Where do you imagine Simon Kane currently is? Partly in heaven and partly in the ground, I suppose. Why? You have a reason to believe otherwise. You should know that Kane has gone insane. He believes himself to be Simon. He will possibly die soon. Victor too. I don't believe that. Out of the question. I don't even want to hear about it. Don't make me disappointed, I beg of you. I have told you what I intended to. Draw your own conclusion. Is that so? Oh, that changes everything. I will of course draw my own conclusions. In fact, I am doing so right now. Information is indeed extremely valuable. I will even allow myself to appraise their precise price tag. However, it wouldn't be very nice for two crafty people like us to outwit each other, wouldn't you agree? I have my own opinion, and I'll remain entitled to it, and with your kind permission. 7,000. I shouldn't have put my trust in Aglaila. Contrary to what I expected, the conversation with her did not set me at ease. In her eyes I caught a glimpse of the strange flame that was illuminating Victor's glance as we spoke. Did someone say they were related? I think I'm going insane as well. I think our poor Bachelor is starting to fall to the distrust of, well, manipulative families. They've been dragged around all of this game. And who's to say that the Inquisitor isn't using us just as a way to get back at the Kane family? Who's to say that what the Kane is telling me is even true? Even the Stomatans. Well, I believe Peter. Perhaps foolishly, but... I put my trust into people, and it's always gonna be shaky. Can I trust Aglaila? I don't know anymore. But the Bachelor doesn't think he can anymore. Yeah, I know better than to walk into the fire. Either way, though, let us check out this event at the Bone Stake lot. Talk to Peter, talk to Andre, check Peter's little lodge. While we're walking there, though, I wanted to point out, or not even point out, I wanted to talk about just a game I've been playing recently while I was sick. I recently purchased Lobotomy Corporation, which is a Korean sort of pseudo-horror management game, and it's been intensely fascinating, honestly. I'd probably be better talking about it during a stream and not these kind of focused experiences, but I'm liking it a lot. It's also really insanely hard. I will also say that I have a crippling hatred for slime girls now. Take of that as you will. Do you like the polyhedron? If I ever get to the tower, I'd love to play Reflections. What is Reflections? Well, there's a labyrinth. Nobody knows what its structure is like because it feels like it's a mile long. You keep walking and walking and walking, and it never ends. And when you're out, it's not actually you, rather your reflection. You yourself go to the other place. How can a labyrinth of that size fit in there? That's the trick. Perhaps you're not walking at all. Perhaps you're going around in circles or standing pat, and the reflections make the space around you feel like it's shifting. Isn't that cool? That's the magic of reflections. Those who come out act very mysteriously. Mysterious how? Unlike themselves, it's like it's you, but not really you. They're not very talkative. That's why they say it's a reflection. Its only purpose is to be there so that your parents aren't worried and all that. And the real person goes to the Utopia country, a miraculous land. Many children go into the labyrinth. They say many used to go in before, but that they realized what it does and got scared a bit. All in all, it's not so popular these days, but Smarty Pants did go in. So did Crowfoot. By the way, most of them were with Knockin now. Curious story. It makes me so happy now to see kids. Especially since I've been hoarding so many trading supplies that I desperately need to get off me. But even besides the greed, it's just nice to see useful life. Thank you, girls, and I hope you have fun with your new items. I do not know how long you will be able to survive. Why'd I take revolver ammo? I sold my revolver. Oh, it's one of those little tiny girls. I gotta trade with her for see if she has powders on her. If she has powders, that'll be incredible. Fuck. Oh, Peter's gone. Maybe... is he alive? I think so. Yeah, I think I did good. Which is great. At the very least, he isn't smoldering on the ground over there. I'll take pins. I don't know why I'm taking pins, because there's such a shortage of children recently, but I will. It's kind of relaxing to see the town. Just this big chunk that's not infected. Listening to the normal music for once. Honestly, even though it's one of my favorite tracks, I'm starting to get burnt down on the infected Knots music. Just because that high-pitched chanting is just You hear it every single day for an hour, pretty much, these days. It's a good song, but it wears you out. It just becomes creepy background chanting more than it is a song. Which, of course, I like, but, it's unpleasant. Let's check up. Is Peter back here? It's so good to see you, alive and well.
There are fine things, old...
Nothing important, just wanted to check up. So now we don't need to check up on Anjay. Let's, check out the bone steak lot, and then this day is over. Check out if we can grab some army gloves from here. Disposable gloves. These are cheap. You have some revolver ammo. They actually sell well, so not entirely a waste. Although money in itself is kind of a waste at this point. What's going on over here? I can't help you, lady. Sorry. Over here, listen, people. Hearken to heaven's sign, for this is a parable. Listen to my explication, fair people. This is a simple sign for us to know who is to blame for all our woes, for all our suffering. And would that be? People, gather round, or better yet, call for your neighbors and relatives and nearest and dearest. For the meaning behind this is as follows. The Cain's Tower is killing our town. The bull here represents the town, and the sharp stake, the shameful stake, is a symbol of the Cain's vile creation, their obscene philosophizing. What's gone into you, dear sir? Wipe them out, the monsters. Simon was a monster, for his sins had brought this pestilence upon us, and Maria, his granddaughter, would soon reach the stars and ply us to her will with her magics, just as her mother, Nina, used to in days past. She must be killed, torn apart and thrown for the people's relish. That's it. I'm shutting you up in the most reliable manner known to men. Do not touch. From within Soak has Bos been cast out, and so here he appeared, alive still. I mean, spirits are still speaking to us. What is this creature? Where'd you get such a thing? Say it was brought at night. They also say not to say a word about it. It's no coincidence, I say. On whose orders? On whose orders? Beats us. There's that smart man over there. Ask him. Yes, an obviously reliable source of information. Born and bred, that one. I mean, the preacher is a bit obnoxious, but I don't see a big issue here. I just see animal abuse, which is unfortunate. completely ignoring the plague at this point. With good health, much can be just written off. Funny how we had such a struggle with it before and now it can't touch us. We've become impervious. And when we do get touched, we just get a fire shower. And it works, as maddening as it sounds. Parkour. Also, I've found joy in just climbing on things that shouldn't be climbed in this game. I was going to check the map earlier. I did some funny little jumps getting to what's his face? Vlad the Younger. No reason, it's useless. It's just some things you can step up on. Not walls like these, but walls like those back there? Perfectly fine. The laws are a little inconsistent. Gold ring. I was just going on autopilot. I have to return to the cathedral. I'm supposed to return to Mark Immortel, but I just walked right past the theater. Thinking, he who cathedral. He who cathedral. I said that twice in a row. I meant to say he who inquisitor. But, again, I run on he who brain. Which is to say I'm particularly dumb. I'm trying my best, though. I don't accept ignorance. But I'm not ignorant enough to deny ignorance. Or who knows, maybe ignorance is just a human concept that holds no bearing. Like gender. And the free market.
Inadvertently, I get the feeling that the population is actually growing. Although, let's not go there. Bad joke.
Yes, that was a... You're a funny man. I've been to the lot. Did you see it? Was it impressive? No, the set is too poor. Although the beast is real, I've checked. First of all, I have to confess that this is not my handiwork. On the contrary, it's a direct attack on my interests. It never even occurred to me that this could make an impression on you, let alone a positive one. But I wanted you to see how impressed the mob is. There are several people there, each of them so noisy you could take them for a dozen. Well, yes, you see, the place and the representation are tailored to excite the crowd. Seems like someone wants to gather a mob, and those who gather mobs only do it with a single purpose. They seem They seek to set them onto someone. So who is the target? I think the Canes are. Actually, I don't care in the slightest, but you should. You are now at a time point when you cannot afford to not care. You've only got a day and a half left. I want that thing to end because I don't like their style. What about you? Well, I don't. I've been embroiled into a stupid melodrama already, and now you want to embroil me into a farce? No way in hell. This is out of the question. These are merely unarmed townsfolk. If I set the soldiers at them, then it will be a massacre. Rather, they make a commotion for a while and go home unharmed. It isn't worth it anymore. It sucked when they broke the damn water supply, but that was on like day 4 or 5. To say the least, it is day 10. And the town is just about dead. What good will a couple of dumb creatures do? So yeah, no reward for that quest, and I don't want to pursue it any further. I'm going to leave it as is, and from here, I suppose we're gonna sleep off the day. Actually, since we're doing that, yeah, we should sleep at Ava's so we can go to Vlad the Younger for day 11 and then check out the theater. Now let us sleep.
The day is over. Your timely efforts allowed your supporters to remain unharmed. A new mime performance is being rehearsed at the theater.
So we did indeed save Peter's life. All that stress was for naught. Thank Christ. Anyways, let's chow down our fish and a big ol' slab of meat, and let us go see Victor. The atrium is infected once again. There is no rest in this town. Let's talk to Victor, see our, see our weird play, and I'm so tired. I admit my brain has been chugging today. I've been lost in thought a lot. I admit, like I said earlier, that my thoughts aren't the most, true, meaningful, potent, I suppose. I'm just speaking what I'm getting out of all of this in the moment. I'm not trying to be any kind of authority on the story. I'm getting things wrong, I know. Make your own conclusions if you're watching this.
It is easier to govern others than to prevent being governed.
I need a map. The works and the hindquarter. Or the works and the marrow. Yay. Yay. The whole town is fucked. And we haven't done shit. Okay, well, there are people that are safe due to the vaccine we made. I'll give them that. If there's anything good we did, it's we helped Ruben create a vaccine which has saved other people. Aside from that, everybody else that didn't get a vaccine is dead. We're still waiting for Artemi to come in with the clutch. Is there any army gloves in here? Well, I'll take rifle ammo, sure. Honestly, at this point, there's nobody left to trade with. We should sell our... We should keep the water because the drunk men spawn in burnt out districts, but the children are gone. We'd have to use lockpicks to break into homes to meet more children, and I just don't feel like going through that hassle. It's not going to be worth it in the end.
The law of gravity is tragically incompatible with dream catching. Illusions have to be let go of in good time.
There is a tricky way to save the specular tower, but there will be casualties. What do you say?
The law demands that we remain silent, as if there's nothing to save but this ridiculous tower.
There is another tricky way. It allows for saving the town of men, but it also requires a sacrifice to be made. What do you say?
The law is impartial. The choice is yours.
Is there an alternative way to subvert your ridiculously unfair law?
We're just doing our job. Why all the fuss? You've got time. Live some more.
Next time on Pathologic, we will go through the penultimate day, and likely at the same time, the final one, concluding the Bachelor story. Thank you for coming along with me this night, and I will see you next time.